At a certain house, when a family of 4 was having dinner, the doorbell suddenly rang. The father stood up, intending to open the door, but before he could touch it, he was blown away by an explosion. Immediately after, a cold-blooded assassin appeared to finish off the survivors. Before escaping, he chopped off one of the father's fingers. That finger was sent straight to a prison in New York, where the most powerful mafia godfather of the region was being held. The godfather pressed that finger onto paper to get the fingerprint, but when comparing it with the file of the target, the results showed that he had killed the wrong person. It turned out that the person the godfather had poured all his efforts into destroying was none other than Giovani. The story goes back a few years. At that time, Giovani was a boss known for his righteousness within his mafia family. In the area he managed, people lived extremely happily, and thieves only needed to hear his name to be scared out of their wits and run away. Giovani was highly respected by everyone, even the police admired his leadership talent. It was exactly that excellence that made Mafia godfather Don Lucchese feel a threat was approaching. Giovani shook hands with the FBI to gift the godfather a long-term vacation ticket in prison. Even behind bars, the godfather retained his power and viewed Giovani as a thorn in his side, determined to dispatch assassins to destroy him at all costs. Returning to Giovani's family, he is currently participating in the FBI Witness Protection Program. The whole family had just moved to a countryside area in France to hide, but just a few hours after arriving, he killed a man because the guy dared to deceive him into buying stale seafood, after which he took the body and buried it right behind the garden. The next day, his daughter was on her way home when she met a group of young men offering her a ride. Since she was new and didn't know the roads, Belle agreed to get in the car. However, after traveling a short distance, she realized this wasn't the way home, and the ringleader started groping her. Instead of being scared, she smiled in a friendly manner, then turned and grabbed a tennis racket to beat him repeatedly. "Take that for trying perverted tricks, take that for daring to touch me." She beat him until the racket broke before stopping. Messing with the precious daughter of the mafia only leads to terror. In another development, the mother was not to be outdone. She went shopping at a grocery store and was treated with disdain by the owner, so she bought a bottle of gasoline and set fire to his store, burning it to the ground. As for the son, because he was bullied by hooligans at school, he decided to use money to bribe other students to form a separate gang for revenge. After that severe beating, those immature punks immediately grew up. That night, FBI Inspector Robert came to meet Giovani to warn him that he had already moved houses twice and was still causing trouble. He needed to integrate with the community here, instead of resorting to violence at the slightest provocation. Giovani promised he would try to change himself for the better. The next day, he realized the water system in the house had a problem. The water flowing out was a turbid yellow, as if mixed with sand and soil from somewhere. The wife said she had called the plumber, but after calling twice, there was still no sign of him, saying that she took a freshly baked cake across the street to curry favor with the 2 FBI agents. Giovani stayed home and called one more time. This time, the plumber arrived but was nearly an hour late. He expressed dissatisfaction with this unprofessional work style, but the guy grinned cheekily and said better late than never. Giovani really wanted to punch this guy but had to try to control himself. After checking, the plumber stated that the entire pipe system had to be replaced because it was too old, and even after replacing it, the water might not be clean because the source could be the problem. Thinking the old man knew nothing, he even demanded an advance payment and asked for extra labor costs. He smiled gently, turned back to grab a baseball bat. "I've been tolerating you for a long time, you bastard," and beat him continuously until the bat broke before stopping. After beating him thoroughly, he shoved him into the car and drove straight to the hospital. The wife across the street saw the scene and thought he had conveniently claimed another life. After being admitted to the hospital, the plumber lay as obedient as a puppy. The doctor wondered why he looked like he had just fallen from the 6th floor. "It must be because his bones were too weak, since my house only has 1 floor. Because there was only 1 plumber in the entire area, the wife blamed him for using violence to solve things. Now who would do the repairs? He immediately retorted, asking, "Who was the person that blew up that grocery store?" "Fine, you win and I lose." Being an experienced man of the world, he immediately apologized to his wife and promised to handle the water source problem thoroughly. The following morning, a neighborhood welcome party took place. Just having scolded her husband for using violence, today, the wife threatened to slit the neighbor's throat if he didn't return the items he stole. Everything went smoothly until Giovani roasted a duck. One neighbor criticized him for using too much charcoal, another criticized the charcoal quality, and another said he should use wood. After speaking, the whole group laughed along. "I've tolerated you guys for too long. Take this for poor quality. Take this for being a bit wet." Luckily, Robert appeared in time to extinguish his intention. Thanks to that, the party ended smoothly in the host's forced integration. Night fell. Giovanni and his wife watched a movie together and realized that being a normal person was so difficult. The next day, he went to meet the mayor to present on the clean water issue. Unexpectedly, the old mayor showed an indifferent attitude and even looked down on foreigners like him. "Take this, Mr. Mayor." Luckily, that was just a scene in his thoughts. Afterward, he went to the water treatment plant and learned the water was yellow due to fertilizer contamination. So he went to meet the fertilizer company director. Unexpectedly, this guy arrogantly told him to buy bottled water to use to avoid pollution. This time, he didn't hold back anymore. He drove the car dragging the director along a long stretch of road to see if he liked being dragged anymore. The director trembled and confessed that just closing drainage turbine number 5 would stop the pollution. He didn't forget to threaten him and staged a fake scene as if the guy had just fallen off a bike, then left. Then he went to the water tower. Not knowing how to close the turbine, he just placed a bomb to be sure. This time, the clean water problem was resolved thoroughly. Not long after, he went with Inspector Robert to watch a movie about the Mafia. While watching, he smiled contentedly, remembering his glorious era. Unfortunately, it was only a memory, but he did not know a fierce battle was about to break out. Godfather Don Lucchese in prison had found his whereabouts. The cause was that a few days prior, his son was assigned by a teacher to write a funny story. He recalled the story his dad used to tell when he was small and wrote it down. Unexpectedly, this little story brought disaster to his fleeing family. After the school published the newspaper, a student brought it home. Then it was carried onto a plane by a businessman and dropped. Very quickly, the newspaper drifted to a paper factory. A worker was secretly reading an adult magazine when he was caught by the boss, so he hurriedly hid it inside the newspaper and took it home. Coincidentally, his roommate was a henchman of the Godfather, who took the newspaper to wrap a wine bottle and sent it into the prison for him. The friend saw the French newspaper and asked the Godfather to help read it. He intended to throw it away but suddenly saw the boy's funny story. Reading it, he recognized it immediately, because only people in his Mafia family knew this story. He guessed immediately who the author was and ordered assassins to hunt down and kill Giovanni. The son was planning to take a train for a trip when he discovered suspicious people. Guessing they were assassins coming to kill his family, he hurriedly called his mom, but she didn't answer. So he called his sister, who was outside. These assassins were truly professional. First, they sabotaged the local fire brigade, then went to the police station and coldly executed brutal attacks. Based on computer information, the assassins found Giovanni's location and discussed the plan to remove the thorn in the Godfather's side. At this time, Giovanni had also just arrived home. Hearing the dog barking loudly, he looked out the window and saw an assassin holding a bazooka with an 8x scope, shooting straight at the house. The wife was outside looking for the two FBI agents, so she luckily escaped death by a hair's breadth. The two agents hurriedly drew their guns intending to rush out, but the assassins had ambushed them and opened fire, taking down both. The assassin entered the house and found the wife. She quickly realized this was a subordinate of Godfather Don Lucchese, who bites the hand that feeds him. He started undoing his belt, intending to assault her to punish the traitor. The wife was in great pain, but she suddenly saw a familiar silhouette. Giovanni was not dead yet as a mighty Mafia boss. How could he depart so easily? He silently hid behind, waiting for an opportunity to counterattack. The two siblings arrived just at the most critical moment, seeing weapons in the car. The sister chose a pistol, and the brother grabbed two submachine guns. The assassins were looking for the father's body and arguing whether to kill the dog or not when the sister rushed up firing back. Thanks to the dog's help, most of the assassins were eliminated. The brother with two guns also rushed in, spraying bullets, but when he used the pump-action shotgun to kill the second guy, its recoil caused him injury. The sister intended to help her brother walk when another assassin appeared intending to kill her, but his gun ran out of ammo. Seizing that opportunity, she ran away to escape. Luckily, just as she ran across the intersection, Inspector Robert drove his car and crashed into him, killing him. On this side, Giovanni approached the assassin and used a belt to strangle him. After struggling for a long while, he managed to subdue the opponent. At this moment, the mother crawled over and used a knife to finish him off. The dangerous moment finally passed. Although they had destroyed all the assassins, they couldn't be happy at all. The two children hugged each other, sobbing. After that night, they had to move immediately. Everyone looked clearly tired but had no other choice. Their faces were full of despair and anxiety, not knowing where the future would drift. The movie ends here. Goodbye and see you all again.